The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to talk about the real star of this past weekend, and it wasn't Jake Paul. It wasn't, Tyrone Woodley. It wasn't Tommy Fury. It wasn't Daniel Dubois, and it wasn't Amanda Serrano. The real star of this past weekend's show was, in fact, the man that they affectionately referred to as Too Pretty, and that was Montana Love, one of Cleveland's very own Montana Love. Now, I've been following Montana Love for a long time. I did a prospect review video about Montana Love like 4 years ago. So I'm not a stranger to him. I'm not a stranger to his career. I'm not a stranger to anything he has going on in his career. I'm a fan of his, and I want to see how his career progresses. And I had questions about this fight with Ivan Baranchyk. He fought Ivan Baranchyk, a guy that's been world champion in 140, a guy that's only been beaten by the best fighters in this division, like Josh Taylor, who's undisputed, like Jose Cepeda, who you have to say is a top 5 fighter in the division. So with that being said, and with that being established here on True School Sports, Montana Love had a lot of questions to answer against Ivan Baranchyk. And I know Ivan Baranchyk, a lot of people are going to say, well, he was coming out this Cepeda fight. He was shop worn. He had been dropped 4 times. It was one of the most hellacious, most grueling fights you'll ever see any fighter go through, his last fight against Cepeda. And I acknowledge those things. But even with me acknowledging that, he's still the most dangerous and best fighter Montana Love has fought to this point in his career. So there were a lot of questions about, could Montana Love keep Baranchyk off of him? Could he avoid getting dropped or hurt? And I think he answered those questions very well. He got hit with some really hard, devastating, thudding shots, some real grown man punches from Ivan Baranchyk, but he showed a good chin or a good beard, and he was able to withstand the onslaught and not go down. Ivan Baranchyk had him hurt a couple times, took him to some deep, dark, uncomfortable places, but Montana Love in this fight showed great boxing ability, the ability to pivot, slip, move, control the ring with his legs, control the rounds with his legs. He was running Ivan Baranchyk into a lot of counter punches, a lot of straight left hands, a lot of counter left hands. And, it culminated around I think it was the 8th round, where he landed a straight left hand down the pipe that dropped Baranchyk, and it forced Pedro Diaz to look after his fighter and stop the fight. Because I'll tell you this, had that fight continued, Ivan Baranchyk would have got punished even worse. And I think it would have been even worse for him. And I think at this point he probably needs to retire, but that's another video for another day. Montana Love answered a lot of questions in this fight, and if you can beat an Ivan Baranchyk the way he did, then I think that now legitimizes him as a player in the 140-pound division. I look at him as somebody who isn't like I'm not gonna sit here and proclaim he'll be a world champion or anything like that, but he's definitely in line for those big fights. And he wants those big fights, and he's calling for those big fights. And when you beat Baranchyk the way he did on a platform like he did with the attention and the crowd that they had there, that in your hometown, that's not very easy to do, especially for somebody who, as he said by his own admission, he went from fighting in empty gyms in Cleveland to now fighting where the Cleveland Cavaliers play. So it's a big step up, and he was able to do it with flying colors. But here's what Montana Love said after the fight, and we'll dissect and address it from there. He said the following, stating, I quote, "Strap me up. We've been working very hard, and now it's my time. I want Josh Taylor and Gervonta Davis. Line them up, and we can make it happen as soon as possible." So Montana Love, Cleveland's very own, he wants those big fights. He wants to know just how good he is in the sport of boxing. And with that being said, we'll start with Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is the man at 140, the undisputed champion, the Dun Dada, the boss, sitting at the top with the crown. And until somebody takes it from him, he is the man at 140. Now, Taylor, I think, is going to have his own plans. He's fighting Jack Catterall in December, a mandatory defense in Scotland. And then after that, he'll either look to fight Teofimo Lopez in a big fight at 140, or not Gervonta Davis, Terrence Crawford in a big move at 147. But if he can't secure any of those fights for whatever the case may be, I don't think this would be a bad alternative. Montana Love has legitimized himself in the division, and Montana Love is a southpaw. He's slick, and you guys know I love Josh Taylor, and I rate him, and I would pick Josh Taylor to beat Montana Love. But no fighter is God. No fighter is untouchable. No fighter is unbeatable. Any fighter can be beat on any given day, and Josh Taylor can lose. It's possible. So I wouldn't mind seeing that fight if Josh Taylor can't get those big fights we want to see him in. I think Montana Love has definitely earned the right to for a big fight, with somebody. It don't gotta necessarily be Josh Taylor, and I don't think Josh Taylor is realistic, but he said the name, and not a lot of guys actually want to fight Josh Taylor, so make that shit happen. He also mentioned Gervonta Davis, who I've also made a video about this. These guys have history. They had a little bit of beef in camp back in the day. They were doing some sparring down here in Florida, and the videos on my channel, I talked about it all those years ago. That could be another fight. Tank has a lot of options, but I'm sure that could be a fight to look into because Montana Love definitely, his stock is up after that fight. He beat a former world champion on the Jake Paul undercard and the most exciting fight of the night. So his stock has definitely got to be at an all-time high right now. But even if he can't get those fights, fights against like Jose Cepeda or Victor Posto or Jose Ramirez or guys like that. There's a lot of options, a lot of fights out there for Montana Love, and I want to see him in these big fights. I want to continue seeing him get stepped up and see just where he fits in this 140-pound division. Because like I said before, if you can beat Ivan Baranchyk the way he beat him, then it means you gotta be at least a somewhat of a quality fighter, because you're not beating Ivan Baranchyk if you're not a quality fighter. So great performance from him. Very happy for Montana Love. Very good to see what he's doing, because I've been following him for a long time, ever since he fought Tsunami Samuel Tay on Showbox. So I'm very familiar with his work. Best wishes to the Southpaw from Cleveland, Ohio, doing this thing. But yeah, that's my video. Just wanted to talk about Montana Love. Great performance. He's calling out the top dogs, and I think he's ready for a big fight. Whether it's against Josh Taylor or Gervonta Davis, that remains to be seen. But I like to see him step up to the upper echelon guys at 140. Your Postals, your Prograis, Ramirez, Cepeda, them guys. I think those will all be good fights for him, along with the guys he mentioned as well. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you want to see Montana Love get in the ring with next? I'll love to hear from you guys and see what you think. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.